Mayor and members of the council, the meeting is now being live streamed.
Thank you so much for that, City Clerk. Good evening and welcome to the April 14, 2025, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City Council and successor agencies of the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:12 p.m. If any members of the public may view and listen to the meeting online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. If any of the members should have a conflict of interest, please announce any item you're recusing yourself from prior to the item being heard. Tonight's invocation will be given by Minister Daniel Anguino, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by City Manager Michael Kelly.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. Let us bow our heads as we come before the Lord in this night. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity that you've given all of us to be here, Father. It has been your will, as your word says, that not a leaf falleth from a tree unless it is your will, God. And I just thank you for everyone that, Lord Father, is in this room, that you've allowed us to be here, Father. I pray for our leaders, that you may guide them, that your knowledge and wisdom be with them, Father God, to take, Lord Jesus, the matters, Lord Father, that you have brought in this night, that you may guide them, Lord Jesus. And we just thank you for this wonderful city, for those that protect us, for those who watch over us. And in this night, we also thank you for your sacrifice, that sacrifice that has given us salvation. And we thank you, Father God, for that. In the name of Jesus, we pray this. Amen.
The flag. Place your right hand over your heart and say the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. City Clerk, please call the roll of the City Council, successor agency.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the council and successor agency, Barcena.
Present.
Councilwoman Guillen.
Present.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Present.
And Mayor Chavez.
Present. Thank you for that, City Clerk. We will be moving on to next item, which is presentations. We're going to do a little bit of reorganizing, starting off with the certificate of recognition for the 30 years of service for Lieutenant Aguirre, and then we'll go ahead and do the Vida Sana organization here present, and then the Bell Gardens High School wrestling team. City Manager, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. Just for the audience's sake, in recognition of the police department and the police officers that are in the back that have calls for service coming in as we're in here, we'll start with the certificate of recognition for 30 years of service for Lieutenant Aguirre. I'll turn it over to back to you, Mayor Chavez.
Thank you so much for that, City Manager. I'm trying to get organized here with all these different certificates. And I have it right here, Mr. Lieutenant Efren Aguirre, Lieutenant Aguirre, that I've had the pleasure of knowing for quite a while already. And the countless years and service that you've done here to the great city of Bell Gardens and to a lot of other cities in Southeast Los Angeles, really. So I'd like to call up you in the front right here on the dais at the podium, and I'll go ahead and read the certificate of recognition honoring Efren Aguirre. This certificate is presented to Efren Aguirre in recognition of your outstanding service and dedication to the community for over the past 25 years. Throughout your career with the Bell Gardens Police Department, you have displayed unparalleled courage, skill, and commitment in your roles as a patrol officer, field training officer, detective, sergeant, detective sergeant, and lieutenant. Your contributions to both the department and the community are immeasurable, particularly your exemplary work in community engagement and leadership within the department. You have served as a mentor, guiding new officers through the complexities of policing with patience, knowledge, and professionalism. Your leadership has left a lasting impact on both the department and those fortunate enough to work alongside you. A defining moment in your career was when your quick actions, calm demeanor, under pressure, and life-saving skills were demonstrated during a critical call for help. Your swift response, which included performing CPR to save the life of a 10-month-old baby, exemplified your dedication and the heroic qualities that distinguish you. We want to take this opportunity to thank you for your unwavering service, the lives you have touched, and the tireless efforts to keep our community safe. You will be greatly missed, but your legacy will endure in the hearts of those you have served and mentored. On behalf of the Bell Garden City Council, we would like to wish you the best in all your future endeavors. Your commitment to justice and service will never be forgotten. Thank you and Godspeed. Signed, Jorge Chavez, Mayor, alongside the Bell Garden City Council, this April 14th, 2025.
Thank you. Thank you, City Council. Throughout the many years that I have worked for the City of Bell Gardens, I appreciate your continuous support, and it definitely makes our job easier. Thank you for those kind words. And after 30 years, it's been 30 years in the making, it's time for me to retire. I will definitely miss everyone here. Thank you for all your support and all your continuous help. Thank you.
On behalf of the men and women of the Bell Gardens Police Department, we would like to first thank you for taking time to recognize Lieutenant Efren Aguirre for the 30 years of service. And I think, you know, what we just read, or what you just read, Mayor, it's a little bit of what he's done throughout his 30 years. So he's done a lot for the community, a lot of sacrifice, and he's going to be greatly missed. And we would like to wish him the best, and we hope that he enjoys his retirement. And we just, again, thank him for his dedication, for everything that he's done for the community. Thank you, Lieutenant Efren Aguirre.
Before we go ahead and take the picture, I invite, Lieutenant Aguirre, I do want to open it up for comments from my council colleagues. If anybody wants to make a statement or make a comment, this is the opportunity.
Lieutenant Aguirre, it's been a pleasure having you here in the police department. Your 30-plus years. I know that this was like your home as well, time away from your family and things like that. And so I want to thank you for all your years of service, and I hope that you enjoy your retirement with your family. Thank you so much.
My deepest gratitude to you, Mr. Lieutenant Aguirre, for 3 years of service and your dedication to the City of Bell Gardens. It left a lasting impact in our city, and I'm sure it left a legacy as well. So I'm wishing you a well-deserved and fulfilling retirement as well. Thank you so much.
Lieutenant Aguirre, I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you and also your family for allowing you to be part of our police department for 30 years. That's a long time, and we're very proud to have you. We're kind of sad that you're leaving, but I also want to make sure that our police officers are given a break and allowed to be with their families. And congratulations on your retirement. And one thing that I will always remember is that life that you saved by giving CPR. I was a lifeguard for a large part of my life, and you need to keep it together when the situation calls for it. So I congratulate you for that, and I'm sorry to see you go, but I wish you a great retirement.
Lieutenant, I share the sentiment. Thank you. It's a pleasure. I know I just started, but growing up here, we always see these familiar faces, and yours is one of them. Thank you for all that you have done. That one life is, I know, one of many that you've impacted, and I know you carry all your experiences with you. 30 years, se dicen fácil, but only you know what 30 years you've endured. Thank you. You will be missed, and again, thank you for taking care of our home and your home, because this is all your home, all the men in blue. Thank you.
At this point, I invite Lieutenant Aguirre to come to the front, and then we'll go ahead and take a picture. Thank you so much for that. City Manager, next presentation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Chavez. The next item is a certificate of recognition for the Vida Sana group, and also in interest of time, the reason we pushed this ahead of the wrestling team was because they've got to get over to Veterans Park for a workout. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Chavez.
I'm like, let's all just go work out right now, right? De una vez todos nos vamos para hacer ejercicio. Oh, wow, there it is. Thank you, gracias. I feel like doing this one in Spanish, right? But voy a tratar de traducir la mayoría de la parte por esta sección de Vida Sana, pero tenemos aquí, we have a couple of certificate of recognitions honoring Vida Sana, and I'm trying to see who and what okay. So I'm going to read the first one, el primero. City of Bell Gardens, Certificate of Recognition, honoring Vida Sana. The Bell Garden City Council is honored to recognize you for your outstanding commitment to health, wellness, and leadership in the long-standing exercise group, Vida Sana. For many years, you have nurtured volunteerism in our community and worked hard to create culturally relevant activities that make us feel healthy and at home. Thank you and congratulations. We look forward to many more years of your valuable contributions. Signed, Jorge Chavez, along with the Bell Garden City Council, this April 14th, 2025. We also want to recognize three incredible women that really are the backbone of this organization. And that's Rosario Solorzano, Marta Beltran, and Araceli Martinez. That, oh my goodness, for décadas, han dado su tiempo para esta organización. And I am extremely humbled and honored to have you be residents of our community, to service our community, and you are very rewarded of this recognition. So I just want to say thank you for your time, thank you for your commitment, and always know that your council, that your city is here to support you. So muchas gracias por todo el tiempo y la dedicación y el voluntarismo que dan por años y años. Y sé que muchos de nosotros y nuestras familias han estado involucrados en la organización, so, I mean, se lo agradecemos de todo corazón. So, muchas gracias. Thank you. I think, tengo los certificados aquí para las tres, igual para el grupo de Vida Sana. Sé que hay miembros de la organización aquí presentes. Antes de que nos tomemos una foto y también que les haga las palabras, también quiero abrirles para los demás concejales si quieren decir unas palabras, y después les damos el micrófono también para ustedes. So this is an opportunity for our council to make comments, and then from there we'll open it up back to them to have any comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Solamente quiero darles las gracias como siempre. Siempre que las veo, yo les doy las gracias a Vida Sana porque es un grupo de los más grandes en la ciudad y también de las ciudades alrededor. Y es 100%, bueno, empezó 100% voluntarios, right? Ahorita ya estamos nosotros compensando un poco a las encargadas del grupo por su trabajo, es lo que me dijeron. y eso es justo porque por más de 16 años estas voluntarias se encargaron de dar su servicio a la comunidad con este ejercicio que es gratis para toda la ciudad de Bell Gardens. Entonces, yo he ido a hacer ejercicio con ellas, pero lo más importante es que ellas es un recurso para nuestras mamás. Mi mamá va a hacer ejercicio ahí, la mamá del alcalde va a hacer ejercicio, y a lo mejor de otros de mis colegas, pero no estoy seguro. Les quiero dar muchas gracias, porque ese servicio ni con dinero se puede comprar, es algo muy valioso y es gracias a ustedes que les nació del alma regalárselo a sus compañeras, a sus compañeros, porque también hay hombres en el grupo, ¿eh? Nomás hay como 3. Nomás hay como 3, pero ahí vamos. Poco a poquito vamos a envolver más hombres ahí. Pero gracias por todos sus servicios. Se los agradezco a ustedes y a las voluntarias que también se acomiden a hacer eventos. Muy bonito. La energía que tienen ustedes es de lo mejor y espero que siga por muchos, muchos años y décadas. Gracias, gracias.
Igual yo también les quiero dar las gracias por todo su tiempo, por las clases que dan, pero especialmente sabiendo que una de ustedes ya no viven en nuestra ciudad, ¿verdad? Pero todavía vienen a nuestra comunidad porque aquí es su casa, aquí es su comunidad y todavía dando de su tiempo y eso me da mucho orgullo saber que hay gente como ustedes que dan de todo corazón, da su tiempo para servir a otros. So, mil gracias por todo lo que hacen.
Sí, un sincero agradecimiento a Vida Sana por su dedicación con el bienestar, el movimiento y la salud comunitaria. Sus energías es algo muy vital para nuestra comunidad de Bell Gardens y muchas gracias por todos estos años de servicio a nuestra gente. Gracias.
Al igual les agradezco por su dedicación a nuestra comunidad. Todos estamos hablando del ejercicio, pero la verdad lo que yo he visto acá de afuera es el ambiente, la convivencia que hay entre ustedes y eso no se encuentra en cualquier lugar. Eso es algo muy hermoso, bonito y gracias a ustedes que han podido liderar ese grupo.
Araceli, Marta, Rosario, las invito que nos digan unas palabras, por favor.
Gracias por este reconocimiento que nos dan y gracias por abrirnos las puertas y así de esa manera nosotros podemos ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Estamos muy motivadas haciendo esto nosotros para la comunidad y Dios quiere y esto siga. Y gracias.
Al igual yo, muchísimas gracias por tomarnos en cuenta y abrirnos las puertas y estamos mil agradecidas por todo su apoyo y a toda la comunidad por estar con nosotras. Que Dios me los bendiga.
Igualmente, igual que mis compañeras, para nosotros es una alegría venir cada día le llamamos nuestra hora feliz. Nuestra hora feliz donde, como mencionó nuestro concejal Barcena, de que venimos a todas las madres a desestresarnos. Todo lo que pasamos durante el día lo hacemos en nuestra hora feliz, que esa hora es para nosotros muy valuable. Pero quiero más que nada darle las gracias a ustedes, a Parques y Recreaciones, a nuestro jefe de la ciudad, a Camacho, a todos los concejales, de nuestro alcalde, a nuestro city manager, a todos en general de la ayuda que nos han dado como grupo, que están ahí atentos a lo que necesitamos en los últimos años. Gracias por reconocer el trabajo que hacemos, que no lo hacemos por ser reconocidas, sino por el amor a nuestra comunidad, a nuestras compañeras, como mencionó también Frances, de que somos una familia, nos llamamos una familia de vida sana. Entonces les damos las gracias por este reconocimiento.
Any of my colleagues want to add anything else prior to the picture? I just, nomás brevemente les quiero de nuevo decir gracias y espero que sigamos para adelante todos juntos, que siempre sepan que el concilio aquí está para apoyarlas, ¿verdad? Y les agradezco de parte de todos los concejales aquí por incluirnos, ¿verdad? Cuando tengan sus celebraciones nos invitan y estamos allí y la pasamos bien. Muchas veces como representantes de la ciudad, escuchamos muchas veces diferentes partes o diferentes historias y la verdad cuando estamos alrededor de ustedes es siempre positividad, ¿verdad? Y eso apreciamos y agradecemos que siempre tomen eso en cuenta. Hasta cuando nos decían de las máquinas de ejercicio, ¿verdad? Y ahorita ya están las máquinas de ejercicio, ¿verdad? Y vienen todavía más proyectos. Vamos a abrir el parque de cachorros ahí en el parque también. Eso también es otra cosa que estamos trayendo a la ciudad. Para ese específico el parque de veteranos. Qué bonito y le agradecemos y siempre que sepan que aquí como concilio, como alcalde, como representantes, estamos aquí para apoyarnos. Thank you. Si al caso nos reunimos para tomarnos una foto y después invito a todos los miembros de Vida Sana que también que se unan. Alrighty. Or in the words of Matthew McConaughey. Alright, right? Moving on to our next item, Ms. City Manager?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Chavez. The next item is to recognize the Bell Gardens High School wrestling team for all their hard work and accomplishments during the school year. We generally recognize them on an annual basis for all the effort they put in, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Chavez.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. City Manager. We do, similarly as the Vida Sana group, we do have another quite a few certificates to also present here. And I want to begin by calling up the coaches that are present here. I believe it's Sebastian Tapia, we have Joshua Angeles, Joseph Martinez, and I think I'm missing one, and then Angel Acosta. If they could come to the podium. I think this is going to Stephanie. Oh, yeah, sure. Actually, you know what? Yeah, okay. Great. And just really, when we talk about the team, right, we talk about who's the coaches, right? We have a really well-suited, and I'd probably say champion wrestling team here in the crowd, representing the BG. So really appreciate that. I want to go ahead and read off the certificate of recognition that's going to be presented to these gentlemen. And it reads, City of Bell Gardens Certificate of Recognition presented to Angel Acosta, Joseph Martinez, Joshua Angeles, and Sebastian Tapia from the Bell Gardens High School Lancers Wrestling Team Coach. And it reads, the Bell Gardens City Council is proud to recognize and congratulate your team's achievement as Varsity Boys League champions 2024-2025 season. We applaud your leadership, commitment, dedication, and mentorship to all of your players, wishing you countless victories in the future. As we say, go Lancers. Signed, Jorge Chavez, Mayor of the Bell Gardens City Council, this April 14th, 2025. We can clap for that. We can clap for that. It's okay. We can clap for that. Josue. Oh, apologies. It's not Joshua. It's Josue. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah. Josue, Joshua. No, it matters. Believe me. I went by a different name my whole life. And my name is Jorge. So it matters. George L. You know, not many people know this, but when I was in elementary school, they used to say, "Hey, George L, you have some gel?" Anyways, I know it's hilarious, right? And I used to have spiky hair, so anyways, moving on. We like to be a lively council here, you know. So again, I want to open it up to the coaches. If you have any words you want to share with us, your experience, what's it been like, you know, and tell us where you see the team and where we're headed.
Getting recognition is just an amazing thing overall, from the schools, from the council, from the parents. So just thank you first and foremost. Overall, it's been an amazing experience both as a coach and for these athletes. This is our fourth year coaching and our fourth year taking league. So it's been amazing hard work from all these guys every single year. And I know we're going to announce their names soon, but I'd like to give special recognition right now to my two four-year seniors, Isaac Lopez and Anthony Vasquez, you know, because I've always felt doing 4 years of a varsity sport is extremely difficult, especially in a sport like wrestling where you're getting pushed so hard at practice, so hard at competitions. You're dieting, cutting weight or losing weight, especially since your freshman year, and at the same time your body is growing. So just big thank you to these two seniors for putting in those 4 years. And right now our team is really young. We have a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, one graduating, 4 boys on the team. So I think we're gonna do great things with these young boys that are really, really dedicated, putting in a lot of time. And I'm grateful for that whole culture they're creating. That's what it is at the end of the day. Is they're creating a culture of success, of excellence, not just on the mat, but also in school, off the mat. All these boys are on track to graduate. They all passing all their classes, and I make it a point every day that you need to transfer these skills that you have on the mat of perseverance, dedication, consistency into your life, into your relationships or whatever you want to pursue. That's always we got to take with you. So I'm proud to say that they're all doing well in school. They're all on track to graduate, and they all have higher goals in education or after high school. Anything you want to say?
Nothing much. I'm first off, I'm very thankful. The team's very thankful for your the recognition that Bell Gardens. Like, it means a lot. It really does. That you guys can't really see what we do, but these kids, they sacrifice a lot of time. These guys are students first, and then athletes, and it's a lot. It's a lot of responsibilities, and these kids are hard workers, and you know, it makes me feel happy that I get to actually help them out as they're still young and transitioning into adults. You know, we enjoy this, and we like representing Bell Gardens. So I'm very, very thankful for the recognition.
Thank you so much for that. I want to go ahead and open it for my council colleagues if they want to make a comment about this, and just really appreciate you coming up here and sharing those words. Yeah.
Hats off to you both and the rest of the team. You know, you both of you guys have been coaching for 4 years, and you know, for the past 4 years, you guys have been taking league. So you know, that says a lot. And like you mentioned, the team is relatively young. So you know, long term, you know, I can only imagine where you guys are going to be. So again, congratulations to your commitment and perseverance, and thank you so much for representing BG. Thank you, guys.
All right, I guess I'm next. I actually want to share something like our mayor just shared about, they used to call him Georgel, and then you got some gel. My name is Marco, so I played water polo in high school. So you know where that's going. They would say Marco Polo, right? But the reason I'm talking about water polo is that I would actually, you know, I went to Bell Gardens High School, played water polo and swimming, and I would always walk by the gym where you guys were practicing. And I have a deep respect for wrestling and the training that goes on there, because I know how rigorous your workouts are. So not only that, I recognize from what the coach said, you guys are very intelligent guys. So all of the wrestlers, please pay attention to your coaches, listen to them. They know what's up. And I commend you for all the achievements and guiding these young individuals to success. And I know that you guys are going to do amazing things once you graduate from high school and you go on. But always keep in mind that you had a great coach. Try to remember the things that he said, because they're going to help you out in your future. And congratulations once again.
Congratulations. I know since you guys have been coaching, you have made history for the wrestling team at Bell Gardens High School. So kudos to you guys on that. But I really like the fact that you guys highlight that they're student athletes, right? Putting academics first, because yes, the sport can take you somewhere, but also you need that academic background. And so the fact that you guys emphasize that, and it shows. And there's something known as grit. You cannot teach grit. To be a wrestler, you have grit. You know, you have to have that perseverance to continue pushing. I've had many family members that were in wrestling teams, and so I've seen it firsthand what it takes to be a wrestler. So the fact that the two young men that you guys mentioned have been on the team for 4 years, you know, that just goes to show the type of program and the type of culture that you guys as coaches are building. And obviously having that cauliflower ear, people would know not to mess with you either. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Likewise, as my colleagues, having you as coaches and placing every year, it speaks a lot, volumes about your leadership with these kids, the culture you've created in this space, and again, it's beautiful how you highlight academics. It's super important, and I urge each and every one of the wrestlers to take all the knowledge you've compiled from these two amazing coaches everywhere you go. Like he said, you know, life comes first, and then you're an athlete, right? So thank you.
Now, before we go ahead and take the picture, I do want to read off the names of the teams, the team that is present. and some of the grades. I'm looking at this. I mean, we have some freshmen, we have sophomores. I mean, we have a mixed bag. I think we have a total of 3 freshmen on the team, right? And then we have 4 sophomores, five sophomores, right? So I see a lot of opportunity there for mentorship to win some more champions, really, right? Because that's what we want. There it is, another CIF run, and bring that gold to Bell Gardens. So I'll start off with David Aguirre, who's a junior, Joaquin Aleman, who's a sophomore, Luis Angel Benitez, who's a sophomore, Milton Carillas, freshman, Brian De Sales, freshman, Carlos Cavior, freshman, Joshua Grajeda, junior, Brian Haas, sophomore, Jason Hernandez, sophomore, Aiden Hill, junior, Isaac Lopez, senior, Justin Polanco, sophomore, David Romo, senior, Hugo Rosales, senior, and then Anthony Vasquez, who's also a senior. CIF placer boys, that'd be Isaac Lopez at 8th, Joshua Grajeda at 7th, CIF placer and masters qualifier girl, Catarina Sanchez, 6th. Our captains, Anthony Vasquez, Catarina Sanchez, and Joshua Grajeda. And then obviously the 4-year wrestlers that you mentioned, Anthony Vasquez and Isaac Lopez. If you could give them all a big hand for their accomplishments. And with that said, I'll go ahead and invite all the team to come up here to take the picture, and then I'll give the coaches the certificates. before the wrestlers leave, I'm just gonna say we didn't just recognize y'all either because it was WrestleMania weekend this weekend, right? So it is WrestleMania weekend this weekend. So it's John Cena's last match, so it's huge. John Cena's last match. I grew up watching that dude, so. All right. I just love starting off the meeting in a positive note. It's so great, and just feed off that energy, you know, keeps us going. All right, moving on to the next item, 6.1 public hearing. Open public hearing. We will now begin at item 6.1 at this time. I will open the public hearing at 6:56 p.m. City Manager, will you please introduce the item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Chavez. This item is an adoption of a resolution to allocate CDBG funds for program years 24-25 and 25-26 for the Veterans Park Restroom Replacement Project. Before I turn it over to our interim community development director, John Ramirez, this is a project that's part of the greater Prop 68 grant funded project that we have going on at Veterans Park. This particular restroom has some federal funding currently from our Congressmember Robert Garcia, and that's part of the reason why our recommendation is to use CDBG, which is federal funding, to complete this particular project. So with that, I'll turn it over to John. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. Or City Manager, excuse me. Mayor, members of the council, good evening. My name is John Ramirez. I'm the Interim Community Development Director. And tonight I'd like to review with you briefly our Community Development Block Grant Program proposal for program years 24-25 and 25-26. And as the City Manager mentioned, this project, the proposed project funding will go to the Bell Gardens Veterans Park restroom replacement. So tonight, the recommendation is for the City Council to conduct a public hearing, and we're likewise going to recommend the City Council adopt a resolution approving the allocation of our CDBG funds for unused allocation of CDBG funds for 24-25 and the new fiscal year funds for 25-26 to both be allocated to this single project. A little background, CDBG funds are federal funds that are utilized to supplement local revenues, and these revenues generally support the city's efforts in funding much needed projects that include infrastructure improvements, preservation of housing stock, economic development, as well as providing support services to local residents and the youth. Each year, these CDBG funds are allocated to cities by HUD, and for us, we get those funds distributed through the Los Angeles County Development Authority, or LOCDA, and these funds are likewise administered by LOCDA on behalf of the city. So for our unused allocation for fiscal year 24-25, the funds are roughly about $584,000, and the new fiscal year funding estimated allocation is just shy of $501,000, or just over $501,000. So the total funding is about $1,085,000 combined. We indicate that the funds for this coming fiscal year are estimated because we get preliminary numbers from HUD and LOCDA, and then in July we'll get the final numbers. But they're usually within, a couple percent, sometimes as much as 10%, but usually not even that much. It's usually 1 or 2%. So the funding is pretty close to the actual. So we've already submitted our initial application to LOCDA for review, and this resolution and approval by the City Council is the last step in the process, and we'll submit that to LOCDA, and it'll come back, go through their process, and we'll come back and we'll get the finalized funding numbers in July. So as the City Manager mentioned, these funds will be directed towards the Bell Gardens Veterans Restroom Replacement, and more specifically, the funding will provide for the design, the architectural, engineering, and construction management, as well as inspection costs for the demolition, inspection costs and the demolition of the existing restroom. So this restroom is proposed to be located and replace the restroom that's currently at Bell Gardens Veterans Park, and that's over on Loveland. The CDBG funds will also go towards personnel, non-personnel, and capital costs. So it'll all be in a bucket and work towards implementing the project, and then periodically staff reports the funding expenses to LOCDA, and then those go through to HUD. So finally, just reinforcing that our recommendation will be the City Council to conduct a public hearing on the proposed project and budget, and then adopt a resolution approving the allocations for both fiscal years 24-25 and 25-26. And with that, staff's available for any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. We will now move on to council member comments or questions. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? Seeing none, we move on to public participation. We will now open public comments for this item. We will call 3 speakers at a time. Please make your way over to the podium to line up. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on public hearing item 6.1. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Anyone joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We didn't receive any written comment cards. We don't have anyone joining us virtually, and we didn't receive any written comments.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. There is no objection by the members of the council successor agency. I will close public participation for public hearing item number 6.1. And we'll move on to the closing of the public hearing. There's no further council member comments or questions. I will close the public hearing at 7:02 p.m. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 2025-31 directing the 2024, 2025, and 2025-2026 CDBG funds for the Veterans Park Restroom Replacement Project?
Motion to approve resolution number 2025-31 directing the 2024, 2025, and 2025-2026 CDBG funds for Veterans Park Restroom Replacement Project.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Do we have to do roll call for this, or can it just be all? All right, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa?
Yes.
And Mayor Chavez?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you for that. We will now move on to 6.2. We will now begin item number 6.2. At this time, I will open the public hearing at 7:03 p.m. City Manager, will you please introduce the item?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Chavez. This item is consideration of an ordinance amending Title IX to regulate accessory dwelling units. This is basically to ensure that the city's zoning code is up to date with state requirements. With that, I'll turn it over to our interim Community Development Director, John Ramirez. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I will be turning it over to Mona, our acting city planner. I think she's on the screen, so she'll be presenting, and then I'll be controlling the slides. Mona?
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and honorable council members. For the record, my name is Mona Mosaib, acting city planner. And this presentation is to introduce zoning code amendment number 2024-075, accessory dwelling unit provisions update. Next slide, please. It is staff's recommendation that the City Council waive full reading and introduce ordinance number 954 by title only, amending Title IX, Zoning and Planning, Bell Gardens Municipal Code by amending regulations for accessory dwelling units. In California Government Code, Section 66310, the state legislature found and declared that, among other things, allowing ADUs in zones that allow single-family and multifamily uses provides additional rental housing and an additional component in addressing California's housing needs. Over the years, state ADU laws have been revised to improve its effectiveness at creating more housing. Recent legislation has outdated certain portions of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code Title IX, Zoning and Planning Regulations, or the Zoning Code. On March 26, 2024, the California governor signed Senate Bill 477 to make state law governing ADUs and JADUs easier to read and navigate. SB 477 clarified the law through non-substantive changes that reallocated numerous simplified government code sections into one chapter within smaller sections. On September 19th in 2024, the California governor signed SB 1211, which clarified the definition of livable space, prohibited replacement requirements for certain parking spaces, and increased the quantity of detached ADUs allowed for lots with existing or proposed multifamily dwelling units. The city must comply with new state ADU and JADU law implemented under SB 477 and SB 1211. Ordinance number 954 proposes to amend the Bell Gardens Municipal Code Section 9.20.036, accessory dwelling units, to align with the state's new legal framework concerning local regulation of ADUs. At the duly noticed regularly scheduled Planning Commission, a meeting of March 19th, 2025, the Planning Commission adopted Resolution PC 2025-06, recommending to City Council approval of Zoning Code Amendment number 2024-075 and adoption of Ordinance number 954. Next slide, please. Ordinance number 954 proposes definition of livable space. The proposed term would define what constitutes a livable space as outlined in the ADU development standards. Additionally, the definition of public transit has been updated to specify which forms of transit are recognized as public. Next slide, please. Ordinance number 954 would amend the Bell Gardens Municipal Code to facilitate streamlined review of ADU developments. The ordinance proposes to amend the ADU's provisions to align with the state's simplified and reorganized references and language with regard to application process. ADU density clarified definitions and ADU sales. The ordinance will amend the allowable detached ADU density for properties with multifamily structures from 2 detached ADUs to up to 8 detached ADUs, or the number of standard dwelling units, whichever is less. Staff would like to note on this slide that since this ordinance was presented to the Planning Commission, an additional sentence was added to section E5 in the ordinance to add clarification on this law. Government Code Section 66332 prohibits local agencies from denying a permit to legalize previously unpermitted ADU on the basis the ADU violated applicable building, state, or local ADU laws. AB 2533 upholds this prohibition and expanded this section to include unpermitted JADUs and ADUs built before January 1st, 2020. Ordinance number 954 is consistent with the Bell Gardens Housing Element Programs 11 and 13. The General Plan's Housing Element Program 11 highlights the city's recognition of the state's commitment to promote the development of ADUs with a qualified objective of facilitating ADU construction. Adoption of ordinance number 954 would align with the city's ADU provisions and regulations with recently updated state guidelines to encourage ADU development while allowing local agencies to establish their own standards in keeping with applicable California government code and would be in accordance with Program 11. The General Plan's Housing Element Program 13 identifies that the city will evaluate development standards and procedures to ensure compliance with state laws. Ordinance number 954 would revise ADU provisions to ensure alignment with state laws and guidelines. The proposed zoning code amendment would introduce an ordinance to comply with recently adopted Senate bills that promote the development of ADU projects. As such, this approach would follow the intent of Program 13. The ordinance number 954 is also consistent with the General Plan's Land Use Element Policy number 2. The General Plan's Land Use Element Policy 2 emphasizes the city's commitment to promote compatible residential development and ensure safe housing. Ordinance number 954 would support ADU development in zones designated for residential use. The updated ADU standards would maintain alignment with existing residential standards, ensuring that ADUs remain compatible with traditional dwelling units to support Policy 2. And finally, it is staff's recommendation that City Council waive full reading and introduce ordinance number 954 by title only, amending Title 9, Bell Gardens Municipal Code by amending regulations for accessory dwelling units. Thank you, and this is a conclusion of staff's presentation. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you so much for that. We will now move on to council member comments and questions. Does anyone in the council have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to public comments for this item. I will call 3 speakers at a time. City Clerk, please announce the instructions.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on public hearing item 6.2. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We didn't receive any written comments. We don't receive any written, speaker cards, and we don't have anyone joining us virtually still.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council Successor Agency, I will close the public participation for public hearing item number 6.2. There's no further council member comments or questions. I will close the public hearing at 7:12 p.m. I'd like to entertain a motion to waive the full reading and introduce ordinance number 9.954 by title only to regulate accessory dwelling units.
Second.
We need a first.
I move.
I'll second.
Perfect. We have a motion by Councilwoman Sanchez and a second by Councilmember Barcena. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez? Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa?
Yes.
And Mayor Chavez?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much for that. We will now move on to public participation on non-agenda items. City Clerk, please announce the instructions.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from speakers that are in person, and we did not receive any written communications.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. I'd like to call up Chandler Weber.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chandler Weber. I am a public information officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration. The purpose for me being here this evening is we're finding that everyone kind of understands the role that FEMA plays when it comes to natural disasters. And so we made it our mission to visit all 88 cities here in Los Angeles County. And so I hope to just share a little more about what our program is, and if anything, leave you with more information that, heaven forbid, if there is another natural or man-made disaster going forward, you recognize that SBA is actually the largest source of federal funding. I can tell you here in Los Angeles County, so far we've approved about $2.5 billion in disaster relief for the wildfires. Of that, about 2.2 has gone to homeowners and renters. So the majority of our assistance actually is for the individual. And what that looks like is we can offer long-term loans that can go all the way out to 30 years. Starting with homeowners, we can do up to $500,000 for physical property damage. So it doesn't just have to be, complete structural loss. If you had anything from wind damage all the way to, unfortunately losing your house entirely, $500,000 for that physical damage with an additional $100,000 for personal property. Renters are eligible for that as well, and that can cover anything from your vehicle to the clothes on your back, daily necessities you need to live life. The terms on those for homeowners and renters is 2.563 as low as, and again, can go all the way out for 30 years. Switching to the business side can offer up to $2 million for physical damages. That can be, again, your building, your inventory, and then it can also offer an additional $2 million for economic injury, and that one actually extends all the way until October. And the reason being for that is a lot of times when business plans are written, you don't have natural disasters in mind, obviously. So if you know of any businesses that are struggling to stay afloat as we move into the summer months, just whether it's directly related to the wildfires or even indirectly, they're still eligible to apply with us. And again, the terms for business loans can go all the way up to 30 years. The interest rates on that start as low as 4%. For private nonprofits, we do offer assistance there as well. So if you know anyone that had a fundraiser that may have been planning in January, February, March, that interest rate is locked at a 3.625% here, and again, can go all the way out for 30 years. The other biggest point of contention to make is the first year with us, there is no payments and there's no penalties. So what a lot of people will do is say they're waiting on insurance or grants or other things like that to kick in. They can get started with the SBA, and we usually are able to disperse funds within, I've seen as quick as 2 to 3 weeks out here, and then they could turn around tomorrow and pay it back when insurance or grants like that kick in. And essentially at that point, you had a US SBA grant at that point. Outside of that, just please keep us in mind that, again, if there is another disaster moving forward, we are resources available outside of LA County here in particular. We are supporting 12 other declarations within California, so we're readily available and we're here to help however we can. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that, Chandler. Can you provide, do you have a card?
I do, yes.
If you could just leave it with our interim community development director, would really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, next speaker, I'd like to call it Victoria Martinez Muela.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Hello, everyone. My name is Victoria Martinez Muela, and I represent Athens Services. I'm here tonight to introduce myself and to let you know that if you need anything, you can count on Athens Services. We were a proud partner in the Bell Gardens extravaganza this past weekend, and we look forward to continuing to working together to support the community. I did bring something also. Mayor, you asked for business cards. I went a step further. There's a little card for each one of you up on the dais. Except for City Attorney, forgive me, City Attorney Vasquez, but it's nice to see some familiar faces. What's that?
Take them all back.
I know. You know what? You can count on me next time. Again, Vicky Martinez Muela. Please feel free to give us a call. We are your community partners. And finally, I want to leave it by saying tonight was serendipitous in that you highlighted the wrestlers from Bell Gardens High School. My husband is a BG Lancer, and he was also a wrestler. So he told me to say, go BG. That was for you. Thank you very much, Council, for allowing me a few moments to introduce myself. And I do just want to let you know that I'm available via phone call or a text, and Athens Services is a proud partner with the City of Bell Gardens. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much for that. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council, successor agency, I will close public participation for non-agenda items, and we'll move on to agenda item public participation. City Clerk, please announce the instructions.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time, dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select unmute or the microphone icon when instructed. We did not receive any public comment cards, any written communication, and we don't have anyone joining us virtually at this time.
Thank you so much for that, City Clerk. There's no objection by the members. I will close public participation for on-agenda items. Moving on to item number 9, external committee updates. Does any member of the council have anything to report from their external committees that they sit on? This one an interesting one because there's no particular order. It's just sort of it's free for all, anybody. I think Vice Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. So on April 10th, we had a meeting with Independent Cities Association. We did not reach full quorum, so the agenda was limited to just updates and light discussion. However, we do have a legal update. ICA is in process of hiring a new attorney. So the candidate pool has been narrowed down, and now, hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have an attorney in the onboarding process. Also, during discussion, we did consider a new board role. So this proposal is to create a new position focused just on membership and focusing on board transitions. So this role would essentially streamline the onboarding and offboarding of board members, all in tune to improve continuity and the forward movement of the association. So aside from that, we did have a financial report of the current balance of the account. We did receive about 78,000 in receivables, and we are expecting to obtain about 80,000 in expected contributions in the next few months. So the financial stance of the association is great, and it's right on tune with upcoming seminars as well. So all the pieces are in place, and I'll provide more updates as they come.
Anybody else want to share anything?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share. I subbed for my colleague Francis Delon Sanchez for the JPA, the Joint Powers Authority for the casinos. And they did provide me with a schedule for the upcoming meetings. And I just wanted to point out in particular, we're going to be hosting them on June 11th. In case anyone's interested in going to the meeting, it is a public meeting, so it is technically open to anyone that wants to come by. So it'll be June 11th. It'll be hosted here in Bell Gardens, and then later on October 8th, there will be another one here in Bell Gardens. So those are the two that are left for this year, and that's all I have to report. Yeah. There obviously are more meetings, but we're hosting them just on those.
Yeah. What time do they usually happen?
Let's see here. I think it's 10 a.m. I don't regularly go to the meetings, so it's not like fully off the top of my head, but 10 a.m.
Yes, they're at 11 o'clock, so
Got it.
it's 11.
I've never been to one of the JPA meetings, but I'm always curious to know what's happening there. Yeah, and it's important. I mean, it's a huge one for us.
So I attended the COG meeting Gateways earlier this month. Like I mentioned before, Empower is going to pilot here in Bell Gardens. They already piloted in Southgate, Bell, and Hinton Park, and we're the next city in line. Also regarding the broadband project, if you're not aware, all the cities within the COG, except for a couple of them, are going to be getting broadband within their city, starting here at City Hall, and it's going to be up to us how we are going to establish that within our city. We are part of Phase 2. Phase 2 is going to start in early May. We do have a deadline to make sure that the project is completed by the fall of 2026. And so all the cities that are part of the project have to make sure that they complete by then. And based on the timeline, we're on schedule. So expect some construction, probably a little bit of disruption in our city, but it's for the benefit of everybody.
May I ask a question? Does that cover public spaces, or is it like across the entire housing areas and all that?
So right now, it's just going to be City Hall. That's details that we're going to discuss later on as a council to see how we want to disperse the broadband.
Yeah, a follow-up to that, is it like the initiative is to get all of our city Wi-Fi?
So it's not to get all of our city Wi-Fi. The basis of it is, yes, to get all of our city faster Wi-Fi, but however, right now, starting with City Hall to make sure that we have proper Wi-Fi. What we found a lot in a lot of the cities, especially in Southeast LA, is that the broadband width is non-existent, right? So you go to certain areas and there's dead zones. And so in order to make sure that we have that broadband width, they want to make sure to install it, and starting with the city. So however we disperse it throughout the city, that's going to be up to us at a later time that we're going to discuss that.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to make a, okay? I had attended a Cal Cities meeting in Burbank. It was on March 27th, I think. Yeah, March 27th. I sit on the Housing Community and Economic Development Committee. We touched on a couple bills that were kind of high priority for Cal Cities as a whole, and it was from like in the morning to like noonish, give or take. Pretty straightforward with Cal Cities, and I had brought up that I was bringing this up to the council, the external committee thing, and one of the things that they continually mention is, what they brought up is to mention the City Leader Summit. If you know, if anybody's going, I'm going to be up there. The City Leader Summit's going to be, it's like a 3-day lobbying sort of session for our city up in Sacramento, and it's April 23 through 25th. It's in Sacramento, and there's various opportunities to meet with your legislators, and you know, in this case, Lena, and I mean Senator Gonzalez, and then Assemblywoman Pacheco to engage with them. They had requested, we're looking for someone to go out and to sit on a committee for one of the bills, SB 569, which is pertaining to Caltrans. It's a bill that would request that Caltrans create a homeless initiative plan for engaging with the homeless with cities, right? Because there's no sort of accountability when it comes to getting a hold of Caltrans to do something. You know, we've certainly faced our issues with some of that stuff, and I know I think when the city manager and we were engaging last year with it, it was like, well, is that our, you know, jurisdiction, or is that Caltrans, or is that the city of Bell, right alongside the 710? And at one point we had like I don't want to say like a village, but it was pretty unsustainable. So I found out they reached out, so I'm gonna try to go out and testify for SB 569, because you know, someone's got to hold Caltrans accountable. And I mean, our police department can only go out consistently, and I've told the supervisor as well about the issues we've had with the riverbed. It's like we're out there doing our services, but at the same time, that's not our, you know, I'd rather have our officers be out, or our public works, you know, maintaining throughout the city our parks and stuff. So but I encourage everybody to attend the City Leader Summit. It's a great opportunity to be in Sacramento and to engage. If there's no other further comments, I'll go ahead and move on to City Manager report.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. Just going back a couple of weeks, there's a lot been going on within the city. Just a reminder, though, on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., every Wednesday we have an open art studio available at Veterans Park. On Fridays, we have the resident art and yard sale at Veterans Park from 11 a.m. to 3:30. And then twice a month, we have the farmer's market as well with free food. On March 25th, Police Department had a neighborhood watch meeting at Asmus Park. The following day, on March 26th, we had our first town hall meeting with the mayor that was well attended, and we'll have another one scheduled for late May. On March 27th, the Community Family Services Center held an immigration clinic with MABA that was very successful. So instead of just a workshop with everybody hearing the same questions and answers, people were paired off with actual attorneys so that they could receive individual help, whether that was in person or whether they were participating electronically. So it was specific to their needs. On March 31st, 2 Mondays ago, City Hall was closed for Cesar Chavez Day. So thank you for all the staff and everybody that still worked to keep the city running. On April 1st, the Community Family Service Center held another immigration workshop with DJW law offices. On April 4th, the art and yard sale included the free farmers market, and I believe 2 Fridays from now, I have to check the calendar, is when the next free farmers market is. Also on Saturday, April 5th, the Community Family Service Center held a financial literacy workshop with a focus on preparing retirement. That happened to be one of the issues that was brought up at the mayor's town hall meeting, was financial literacy workshops which our Community Family Services Center has already been putting out there. That one was on Saturday, April 5th. On Saturday, April 12th, we held the annual spring event, including the recycled fashion show and tree planting. So thanks to all the residents, the council members, the commissioners, former council members, participants, vendors, and staff from all the departments that made that event a successful event. It was a great day, nice breeze outside, beautiful day, I think, for everybody involved. On Tuesday, April 15th, Tomorrow, we'll have our rent stabilization workshop for owners. On Wednesday, April 16th, we'll have our workshop for tenants. Also on Wednesday, April 16th at 9 a.m., in addition to Neighborhood Watch, the police department also hosts a quarterly business watch meeting, as businesses may have some issues that are different from residents that just live in the neighborhood, particularly depending on, are they along the riverbed, are they along heavily trafficked roads? That meeting's at 9 a.m. at City Hall on Wednesday. On Thursday, April 17th, Bell Gardens Police Department is hosting a blood drive. It's going to be in Ross Hall from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can just show up, but you can also encourage to pre-register. If you just go to Bell Gardens calendar, you'll find the calendar, click on April 17th, and there's a registration link so you can pre-register. Also want to remind everybody, this coming weekend, April 19th and 20th, Saturday and Sunday, is one of the 5 yard sale weekends. So residents are encouraged to do some spring cleaning, maybe take some things out of the garage or out of some rooms and put them out there for sale. There's no permits necessary, and that's on Saturday and Sunday. On Wednesday, April 23rd, we have two events. One of them we have not done before that I'm aware of. It's a walk audit. This is part of our transit-oriented community process. What we'll do is at 4 p.m. we'll meet at the library here, and then there'll be a very detailed walk of the intersection of Florence and Garfield so that participants can notice things from what would it be like to experience that intersection on a bicycle or in a wheelchair or on foot or in a regular passenger car or maybe in a semi-truck, as trucks do travel that route, and then take notes and discuss with the consultants, with staff, some of the ways that the transit-oriented community process seeks to address the issues that will become apparent, I think, as people do that walk audit. So that's something new. That's from 4 to 6 p.m. And then starting at 6 p.m., the police department has a neighborhood watch meeting over at Ford Park this time around. So if somebody attends the 4 o'clock walk audit on Wednesday, there'll be plenty of time to get over to the neighborhood watch meeting. And the final thing I just want to say is for tonight's agenda, the consent agenda, it includes several items that will actually generate some new revenues and some resources to the city. Resources for the city are important for providing services to all the stakeholders, residents, businesses. Visitors includes a new retail location, which is cannabis retail, a new game that the Bicycle Card Room has been approved to start playing by the Bureau of Gaming Control to help generate additional revenue, and then also a small increase in the rent that is paid to the city for the use of our building over here next to the library. And also the consent calendar contains 2 items, I'll call them repair items. One is for fire protection repairs that were required to be made here at City Hall and the police department. And then also one, it's for touching up the first utility box mural that we painted or had the artist, Javier Solorzano, paint on the corner of Florence and Eastern. Right there by Applebee's, if you notice, it has an aged look already to it. That's due to an issue with the graffiti coating. So that's going to be stripped off, and then the artist is going to rework that utility box. And then the graffiti coating will be applied more appropriately so that that box stays looking brand new like the other boxes look. And while I'm speaking on that item before I close out, just want to mention the other 3 boxes that Javier was working on are all completed as well, so you probably have noticed them. I forget the location that I noticed just as I'm driving around. So we have some next steps for utility box art that we'll bring forth here at in a coming council meeting. So with that, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. City Manager, and really appreciate all the progress and all the upcoming events. Sad I won't be here for the walkthrough for the audit for the transit-oriented plan, but I really love that our city's doing that. We'll move it on to the next item, consent calendar. Does any member of the council successor agency wish to pull an item for separate discussion? All right. Seeing none, can I entertain a motion?
I move to approve item 11.1 through 11.9.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilwoman Sanchez and a second by Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa. Can we do a roll call?
Yes, members of the council and successor agency, Barcena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillen,
No.
on all items, or?
Sorry. Yes, with the exception of, which one is the cannabis? Can you remind me?
11.4, Councilmember.
Yes. So yes, with the exception of 11.4.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa,
Yes.
and Mayor Chavez.
Yes, with the exception of 11.4 as well. I'll vote no on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Moving on to item number 12, local commissions appointment list. Does anyone of the council have any changes or additions they want to do to the appointments commissions list?
Yes, I would like to appoint Gustavo Mendez for the Traffic and Safety Commission.
Okay. Anybody else want to make an add or change? I know I gotta get on this like really badly, and I appreciate the city clerk did send us the list of the commissioners earlier this month. So by the next meeting, I hope to have some people that I have to add. Yeah. There's no more changes, requests, adds. I know we have one, Gustavo Mendez. Anybody want to make a motion for that?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilwoman Guillen, second by Councilor Barcena. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, ayes have it. Next one, 12.2, Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Mr. City Manager, take it away.
Thanks again, Mayor Chavez. This item here is an annual item that comes before the council. There's a significant amount of information that is provided, but it's synthesized down pretty well in a presentation here. At this time, I'll turn it over to our Director of Finance and Administrative Services, Manuel Carrillo. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Honorable Mayor and City Council, this evening we will be presenting a brief update on the results of our fiscal year 23-24 financial audit. Under federal and state law, the city is required to conduct an annual independent audit of its financial statements each fiscal year. The city contracted with the certified public accounting firm of Gruber and Lopez, Inc. To conduct its annual financial audit. This includes the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, commonly referred to as an ACFR, as well as the single audit schedule of expenditures of federal awards. The firm of Gruber and Lopez performed procedures to obtain audit evidence pertaining to the amounts and disclosures in the financial statements, to provide an opinion of the financial statements, and to report on compliance, internal controls, and suggestions for improvements. Now, we are happy to share that for fiscal year 23-24, the firm of Gruber and Lopez has issued an unmodified, or often referred to as a clean, audit opinion, meaning that the financial statements present fairly in all material respect the financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities such as each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the City of Bell Gardens as of June 30th, 2024. The changes in financial position for fiscal year 23-24 fiscal year in accordance with the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. The ACFR presents the city's audited financial information and financial disclosures. The ACFR has been submitted to the Governmental Finance Officers Association, referred to as GOFA, to be considered for the Certificate in Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. It's our pleasure to have with us this evening Mr. Ron Lopez, Managing Partner with the firm of Gruber and Lopez. Mr. Lopez will provide us with a brief overview of the audit results for fiscal year 23-24. And Mr. Lopez, whenever you're ready, sir.
Great, thanks, Manuel. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm happy to present the results of the June 30th, 2024 audit. I'm going to try to share my screen here to go over a little PowerPoint. Let's see. Oh. Can everybody see that? Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, we can see that. Thank you.
To describe the audit process, the audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, as well as government auditing standards, which are a little bit more strict than regular standards. The objective of the audit process is to ensure that the city's financial statements present fairly in all material respects the respective statements of financial position, which is known as the balance sheet, and the statement of activities, which is known as the income statement of the city of Bell Gardens. To meet these objectives and in accordance with the auditing standards, we perform various tests. Some of the more significant procedures include documentation and testing of internal controls, overall accounting cycles. On a sample basis, we test disbursements, transfers, and journal entries for compliance with the city's policies and where applicable, compliance with state and federal grant requirements. We also confirm with third parties. We've confirmed cash and investments, certain revenues and receivables, long-term debt commitments, and we also obtain and analyze attorney responses. We perform compliance on allowable costs, tests on the use of federal funds, and we reconcile the city's general ledger to detailed subledgers. And then we also evaluate the reasonableness of the city's estimates and assumptions. The audit products produced, as Manuel said, it's the annual comprehensive financial report. We also produce the report on compliance and internal control over financial reporting in accordance with government auditing standards. And we issue a report on compliance and internal control over federal major programs in accordance with uniform guidance. We also issue a GAN limit, appropriations limit report, and we also issue a communication letter to those charged with governance. The results of the audit, as Manuel said, we issued an unmodified opinion, and the financial statements were dated March 27th of 2025. And the unmodified opinion is the highest opinion an auditor can issue. We noted no material weaknesses in internal controls under government auditing standards. However, we did note a significant deficiency, and that was mainly due to, the auditing standards require that the auditor include in his report deficiencies such as material audit adjustments detected by the audit process. There were several adjustments for the year June 30th, 2024 that were discovered by us through the audit process, and some of those adjustments included the areas of loans receivable, fund balance, capital assets, and related depreciation, accounts payable, and unearned revenue. So we're just recommending that client adjustments be reflected in the accounting records prior to the start of the audit, just to make the audit a little bit more efficient and to avoid, auditor adjustments. And management issued their response, and they concurred with the finding, and they're going to strive to reduce audit adjustments in the future. Continuing on with the results, there were no non-compliance as far as government auditing standards were considered, and we also noted no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls under the Uniform Grant Guidance, which is the major federal programs. And then the GAN limit, or the appropriation limit report, disclosed no findings as well. As Manuel mentioned, the city has been the recipient of the GFOA for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the June 30th, 2003 audit report. And the June 30th, 2004 report has been submitted to the GFOA for consideration. The preparation of the annual financial report includes an audit opinion and financial statements. In addition, the following of which no opinion is placed is the letter of transmittal, the management's discussion and analysis, and the statistical section. Those are all prepared by management, again, which we place no opinion on. We do believe, though, that the 2024 report will again receive the GFOA award. The management discussion and analysis, which is on page 4 of the annual financial report, is an important component of the report, and it'll give you a good understanding on the financial highlights of the fiscal year. And some of those highlights include regarding the government-wide financial statements. The largest revenue source was, of course, the card club revenue, which came in at about 18.2 million, and that was a slight decrease from last year, which was 18.9 million. The assets and deferred outflows of the city exceeded its liabilities and deferred inflows by 79.6 million, and this was an increase of about 6.5 million. So the net position basically is the equity. So equity increased, which is a good thing. Total revenues of 66 million for the government-wide were mainly comprised of 20 million in program revenues and about 45 million in general revenues. General revenues include the various taxes like property taxes, sale taxes, etc. And government activity expenses decreased by 7.1 million or 14% from the prior year. The water fund and the golf course fund revenues totaled 2.8 million, and that increased by 1.2 million from the preceding year. And that was due to the water rate hike, while the golf course experienced a slight decrease of about 11,000. The city's investment in capital assets, such as infrastructure and equipment, vehicles for government and business type activities, was about 112.4 million net of accumulated depreciation, and that was up a little bit compared to the prior year of 107 million. And long-term debt increased by 7 million to 132 million, and the most significant increase there was the post-employment obligations and the net pension liability. Going on to the fund statements, the city's governmental funds reported combined ending fund balance or equity of 44.4 million, and that was an increase of 7.4 million compared to the preceding fiscal year. So again, net income is basically, went up 7 million, so that was a good thing. In the general fund, the city's general fund actual revenues exceeded its budget by 1.8 million, which was favorable. Actual expenditures exceeded budget by 2.4 million. And again, the overall increase in fund balance was 2.5 million. Are there any questions on the PowerPoint or any of the reports that were issued in your agenda packet?
Ron, it's Mike O'Kelly, the city manager. If I could just make a couple comments, I think for the council's benefit. Generally as a city manager, what we're looking for with the financial statements as they're prepared, we know as the year goes on, the transactions and activities that the city's taking, as far as investments in infrastructure, things such as building the aquatic center, buying capital assets like police vehicles and playground equipment and things like that. We keep an eye on the revenues, the expenditures. We understand what's going on with the water fund. And so what really we're looking for, at least from the city manager perspective with the financial statements, is number one, that they're done before March 31st. Number two, that they're prepared and completed accurately. Number three, that there are no audit findings. If there are recommendations, as Ron mentioned, to improve the timing of the adjustments that we do in the accounting records, we look for those kind of things. And then generally, we overall look to see if the auditors are satisfied that the information that we provided is accurate. And I think these financial statements show generally all positives in all of those areas. And so I just want to make that statement. I don't see anything with these financial statements as a city manager that I would feel compelled to report to the council. To be honest, the auditor would already report that anyways, but I could maybe be a little more nitpicky, and there's nothing there. So I would just end by just saying thanks to all of the staff throughout the city that participate in the internal controls that we have in place before we actually put money out the door, whether that's for services or equipment, things like that. And then also thank you to all the staff throughout the city that are responsible for safeguarding the assets that come into the city, whether that's fees at the golf course, whether that's fees for parking tickets, things of that nature. And then to the finance department for ensuring all those assets are safeguarded, reported accurately, and then submitted for audit. And then final thanks to the auditor for the work they do. As a resident of the country, of the state of California, who lives in a city, I know what the third-party auditors are supposed to be doing out there. They're really a watchdog to look at some of this detailed, somewhat technical information and to make sure that things are being done accurately. And so appreciate the work there as well. So just thanks again to Manuel and his team that are specifically involved in this, and thanks to Ron and his audit team as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, City Manager. Does any member of the council Successor agency have any comments or questions about the annual comprehensive financial report?
I just want to say thank you. I know how important it is to make sure that we stay in compliance, and so being able to have an outside company show us where we're at and just be very thorough with it, I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Any other member?
Yeah, thank you to the audit team and, you know, for providing this report. It was very thorough and, you know, it was very interesting to see the diverse amounts of, you know, revenues, you know, from large scale business to like smaller scale businesses as well. So that was very insightful to get an idea where, you know, Bell Gardens is economically, and, you know, thank you so much for the finance team.
Anybody else? Okay. All I would have to say for this is when I saw this item, you know, it used to be known for something else. The way it was drafted, it was comprehensive annual financial report, and now it's annual comprehensive financial report. I remember taking public finance management and budgeting for my master's program, and you know, they tell you about any government agency, any agency, look at their annual comprehensive financial report, and it'll give you the standing of how that agency's doing, and it's like a much more in-depth analysis of like a budget, and it's interesting. You could really dive deep with the numbers and make your own points of it. So I just appreciate everybody in the auditing team here, our director of admin services. Really appreciate our support manual, and then obviously our city manager, who is an expert when it comes to a lot of this type of reporting, and it helps out that he's also a certified CPA too, right? So with that said, if there's no other members of the council, successor agency, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
A motion, Councilwoman Barcena, second by Councilwoman Sanchez. Do we need to do a roll call? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the final item, members' comments, beginning with Councilwoman Barcena.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to thank our city attorney, Stephanie, for helping out with that workshop that we had for our residents, to organize that and bring it here, as well as our Recreation and Community Services Department. I had time to attend, and I was very impressed. It was nerve-wracking at first because I didn't see too many people there, but as soon as it got started, it started filling up, and next thing you know, we had, I want to say, more than 12 attorneys and residents that were consulting with them. So it felt good to be able to provide that service. I also want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Miguel de la Rosa for being there at the initial planning meeting. I think thanks to us bringing that up and to the help of our attorneys, we were able to offer that to our community. So it was a very successful event. So thank you for that. I also want to thank our Recreation and Community Services Department for putting together and helping the sewing instructor do the recycled fashion show. The stage was beautiful. I went out there and took some pictures, and once I sat down and I went through the pictures and I saw just how beautiful the setting looked, I felt very happy that you guys were there to take care of that. I want to also thank my colleagues Francis Elon Sanchez and Isabel Guillen for being judges at the event. That was also very nice. But more than anything, I was happy to see our residents feel acknowledged and given an opportunity to really showcase their work, especially because I know some of those residents, and some of them, they haven't been involved in any programming. So to be able to find that particular activity that suits their talent or their interests is great. I mean, we do so well at like sports and other areas, and I feel like that's already cutting edge in this region. For example, the sports center, but to be able to provide an arts activity that is suitable for another segment of our population is I think one of the goals that I've heard this council express, that we want to make sure we accommodate all ranges of population. So thank you for all the support. It was a great event, and residents were very happy. I don't have anything else. Thanks. Congratulations on the audit and all the results coming out positive in a good way. I know, right? If you say it comes out positive now, you feel like it's a COVID test or something, and then you're like, no. But yeah, thank you for that. Thank you to the chief. He's been providing a lot of help with concerned residents in regards to safety. Thank you to our city manager for dealing with so many responsibilities. Also, thank you. I know that the mayor was out of town, so he wasn't able to attend the walkthrough, the second walkthrough of our aquatics facility. But that was also a great opportunity for us to showcase really what Bell Gardens is about to finish in terms of huge projects. And I want to thank the Recreation Department also for helping coordinate that. And yeah, just generally thank you all for all your hard work, and that's all. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Councilwoman Guillen.
Well, he summed it all up, huh? But I think first and foremost, thank you, Marco, for being very vocal and a huge advocate for the arts. With the help of, BG Recreations. This weekend we saw that. And it's very beautiful, like you mentioned, to see everyone come, join together, and just enjoy a sunny evening where make a me, but we'll be okay. Unfortunately, I know I wasn't able to attend the pool, but I've heard wonderful things and we've seen the labs, and it's just exciting. So we'll continue to advocate for more funding from our end as, leaders and advocates that we are. And lastly, just thank every single one of you. And again, always thanks Chief Camacho for all your hard work.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Guillen. Councilwoman Sanchez.
Thank you to the staff once again for that great event. I especially want to thank not only the Department of Parks and Rec, but also Public Works for helping with the tree planting. I think it was really important and special to show the students from Bell Gardens Elementary that their voice matters, right? And so they were advocating for tree equity, and I was able to join with that class and then tell them, like, let's come, let's plant a tree, like this is the start. And so having you guys there and being able to offer that to them meant a lot. So thank you so much for doing that. And also thank you to my colleague Marco for allowing us to participate in the fashion show. And I know that it was very difficult judging, it was very difficult judging, but so creative to see all the residents there and just really highlighting their talent. So
I want to say, I want you guys in the art stuff. So like, I don't allow you, I invite you always.
Inviting us, sorry, I should have said
No, thank you for accepting.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it, but thank you so much to everybody for all your hard work.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Sanchez. Pass it over to Mayor Pro Tem De La Rosa.
Thanks so much. I want to thank staff for all their hard work. April has been off to a great start, very eventful. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the April extravaganza, but it was, from what I saw, it was beautiful. Seeing the stories on Instagram of everything going on was amazing. So Parks and Rec, great work. In the other end, in collaboration with the other department, we got to see a tour of the development, right, of the aquatic center. So that was phenomenal. That was great. Thank you, Bernie, for the tour. It's very thorough. And again, I want to thank city manager and Liz for helping me address a concern for a resident. They had an issue, right, with some scheduling in the Ford Park area, with softball, baseball courts. So thank you so much for being so attentive and willing to help out our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mayor Pro Tem. For me, it's been a great meeting, really productive, really appreciate the time. A couple of updates. As always, I'd like to begin by first acknowledging our city manager, the incredible work that we're doing as a city. We're heading in the right direction. As the months continue going by, we're already practically almost halfway through the year, and I'm just really, really happy to see that our council and that our city is heading in the right direction. And I appreciate the leadership of our city manager, Michael Kelly, the staff, right, everybody from our chief to everyone else, public works, admin services, community development, and then obviously our recreation and community services. As now we're heading into summer, a lot more programming. It's gonna start popping up. Our summer concerts and movies. I'm curious to know if the movies and the concerts have already been picked. I have some recommendations. Maybe we could watch a movie. That'd be great. I don't know if anybody else has a recommendation for a movie, but I could certainly throw one out there. And then for the art, for what? What movie? I'd say any of the Pixar movies. I'm a huge fan of those. As long as I don't do what I did in the last council meeting, right? No. When was the meeting? The meeting had already finished. Anyways, but yeah, any of the Pixar movies. I think this is probably the opportunity. I'm just gonna throw out the movie, right? We'll talk. Everybody wants to. Coco? I watched like half of Coco. I haven't even watched the full Coco. I know. My favorite movie of Pixar is Monsters Inc. We can watch Monsters Inc. Yeah, I like that one. But if I have to pick, I would love Cars. Yeah, 2006. Life is a Highway. I remember that. It's a great movie. So Cars, that's the one I would love to watch. Cars. Maybe we could kick off the summer movies with Cars, right? I don't know. What does everybody else think? I like.
We can't vote on it anymore.
It's a great movie though. If anybody hasn't watched it, don't worry. City attorney's like. Other than that, just again appreciate all the work. I'm glad to see that in our Veterans Park we finally completed the storm capture system. We now have that system set up. Since the last meeting, I had a town hall. I appreciate everybody who was there and who watched it virtually, and obviously all of our directors that were present. Got a lot of feedback from the residents. It was our first one doing one, and as I said, I want to continue to do this every 2 months or so. So, I mean, at this point, the next one's like in May, which it's going to fly by, and it was interesting. We're learning as we're going, and definitely there's some key lessons learned from that first one, and one of the biggest ones was like translation, right? I think definitely having translation services there would be helpful, and but overall the feedback that I got from the residents was very supportive, and they really enjoyed that we did that. Some of it was unexpected, right? Some of the residents' comments, someone's like, I never got you sent me a text, and that was something that I had never seen, and I've lived here for X amount of years, so I really appreciate that. And we had some residents that it was their first time coming out. We had others that really shared some of the perspectives they've had, having lived in the city for a long time and having now raised their kids here in the city. So I think it was a good, healthy space. I appreciate the staff time that went into preparing for it, and I'm looking forward to the next one in May. And I know this last one, Councilmember Barcena was present, obviously with Brown Act and how difficult it
Please
is.
feel free to take my place for the next one. I'll, tap out.
I was thinking. I mean, we got a couple more. It's every 2 months. Maybe we could do a rotation, have someone up there, and I would encourage everybody who is there to at the same time, engage and ask the questions. The benefit here, as compared to in other bigger cities, is that we're not a district, right? We're an at-large city. The same people that voted for me voted for all of you, right? In the sense of how we're being representative of the city, right? There's no particular district of north or south or east or west of Bell Garden. So that's the benefit that we have here, that we can engage with all of them. So I think again, it was healthy. I encourage you all to attend the next one, or one of you to attend, and we can kind of go from there. Final thing I would say, and I brought this up in the last council meeting, was the Mexican consulate. I saw that there's progress being made on engaging with them. I believe there's going to be a walkthrough in the next week, so I'm excited to do that. I know that they've been reaching out. They really want to kick off the Consulado sobre Ruedas, bringing the services that the consulate has and to offer to our constituents here in Bell Gardens and to nearby Southeast Los Angeles. So again, they're very they're active, and I appreciate again the city manager supporting and engaging, and also our director of community services in this matter. With that said, I don't have any more comments. I just want to say thank you again for this meeting, and I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting if there's no more comments. All right. If there's no objection by the members, I will adjourn the City Council Successor Agency meeting at 8:06 p.m.